Good morning, you guys. I am so excited to share with you. This is Michele Zaragoza, team leader. Yes, Central Valley, over in Lodi, Stockton, Tracy, Manteca, Modesto. I have to map it out in my head so I don't forget anybody, right? But today's a big day. Big, big, big day. And I have somebody else texting me for I'm gonna put my phone away and I just hope everybody looks at their email, right? So they can see the password. Everybody else did. So let's just make sure. Okay. So today's a big day. Caroline, whoa, she has, I can't think when we met, Caroline. I think you had a lead for us, right? And so I sent it out to an ALC member and it just snowballed from there, right? Our relationship. And you've been helping me recruiting, which is awesome. And I appreciate you. And we have a son, both of our sons are 20. Um, Granted, my son doesn't have a YouTube channel like your son does. You're muted, doll.
Oh,
Okay.
I know. I was trying to be quiet. I admired you from afar for many, many years, ever since I joined KW. Everybody was telling me about Michelle. And it was this year that we had the opportunity, and it was such a blessing for me to come into your orbit. So thank you. I'm really excited.
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful of you to say. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very, very kind. It's funny how Keller Williams in a line with people who, it's all about social media too. And we kind of feel like, oh my gosh, we know each other, but it's really social media, right? And then when we finally do see each other, it's like, oh my god, you
Where
know,
have you been all my life?
I know. Well, that's what I was joking about the other day when we were talking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you. What's really cool is that you and I are so in sync on our high expectations and how you really, really say this is the way it's going to be, and that's that. And I love that. And we're going to get into that in your conversation. But let's go ahead and start. Let's see who needs to be muted. Let's make sure everybody mutes themselves, okay? Please. Thank you, Michael. I saw you smile. Okay, so let's everybody. It would be nice if you could show yourself out of respect, right, to our guests. I think it's really important that we be present because how you act here is how you act out there, right? So, and she's taken time out of her busy schedule. And I'm so, so proud that you did, Caroline. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself, okay?
Of course. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Happy Monday. My name is Caroline Huo. I am based out of the San Francisco Peninsula. And so that's between Burlingame down to Silicon Valley, that sweet spot right there. I've been in the business for 17 years, and I was an individual agent for about 11 years with Coldwell Banker, and had a health setback. I was the one running to Home Depot and doing all the marketing and changing light bulbs and painting the door myself, and it was a top producer within Coldwell Banker. And Keller Williams was relatively new to our area. They start calling and calling. I'm like, I don't know who you are. And it was actually when I went into a class with Dick Dillingham, business planning clinic, that my jaw just dropped and went, oh my gosh, what is this company? I've never heard language like this before. And it's what I needed. So I made the move in 2015. In 2015, I doubled my production. I was hitting a ceiling at TV. I doubled my production. And then in 2016 is when I started my team. So yeah, what else do you want to know? I'm on the ALC. I'm a representative for IALC as well. I was in the concierge lab with Gary. Our team's in Gary's top 100, or not top 200 now, probably. And yeah, we have a good relationship with KWRI.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. What do you mean you have a good relationship with KWRI? Is that what you just said?
Yeah. So I'm in a few programs with KWRI.
I was gonna say, yeah, when you, I don't know, go to dinner or have a few meetings with Gary, I think that's good relationships. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. How does it feel that with Gary Keller?
Somebody's phone horn was going off, so I didn't hear your question.
How does it feel to be in Gary Keller's circle? Honestly, what did that sound like? I mean, when they called you and said, hey.
You know, what you see is what you get with Gary. He's incredibly smart. He is going to ask you really tough questions. He is no bull at all. And it comes from, he wants to help. And he's a fantastic listener. I think that's one of his superpowers, is that he's a fantastic listener and he's able to synthesize information very quickly. So it's pretty neat.
I bet. Yeah. So if I say KW luxury, what do you say?
Untold story. So I was with that CB for so long, global luxury, and it was wonderful. And then I came to KW, and that was kind of one of the things I was thinking, oh, KW doesn't sell luxury. What are we going to do with the brand? So at that time, when I came over from CB, I had a $5 million listing and an $8 million listing in the books. We're about to launch. And so when I made the decision, I didn't let that hold me back from moving, because I knew that in the end, for my business, my family, and our clients, coming to KW was the right thing to do. But I was really nervous to talk to my big sellers, and they said, you know what? We're not following you. We're not following the brand, we're following you. So then it was, you know, being involved in luxury committees, et cetera. I was like, gosh, we sell so much luxury. We sell the most luxury of any company. We're not telling the story. And so finally, you know, Gary's been kind of preoccupied with a lot of other things. When this last year, he's decided we're going to really take on luxury, and having Brady on board, it's been amazing. So we've got a New York ad agency working for us. We're consulting with the Ritz-Carlton. It is really amazing. And I think those of you in luxury who are on the luxury calls, the monthly masterminds with Gary's getting involved in luxury. It's really exciting to be here right now, where we still have a voice and input of what needs to go in.
So we do have a few people involved, but I really want to dig deeper and get them more involved. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think it's important so they can be involved in those calls. I get the calls, we record them, and I send them out to a few recruits and so forth. But it would be so nice if we can get more involved as an office.
Yeah.
What would you recommend me or us to do to make this happen?
Well, the KW Luxury Facebook page, every Friday, Brady's on every Friday, and he's got a luxury agent on board. And we're talking about hiring, we're talking about prospecting, we're talking about marketing material, we're talking about the market. We're networking with each other. So if you don't have time to do anything at all, that is the first thing I would recommend, is to join the KW Luxury Facebook page and get on those calls with Brady. And if there's a who's who of luxury and they're right there, you can be asking questions live, which how cool is that? And then the monthlies with Gary is also, he gives you stats. It's not just talking about, hey, here's a pretty house. Here are the stats. Here were the luxury markets. This is where they're going. We're talking about how to find where the next place the luxury buyer is going to go, or luxury seller. Somebody was like, look at the private airports. Look at like where the private planes are going. Where are they building private airports? I mean, who talks about that, right? So everybody's talking about how glossy their brochures are. We're talking about stats and where do we find more business.
I like that. I like that a lot. So, all right, let's make sure we do that. If I'll make sure we get that Facebook group and put it in our private Facebook group. I think that would really help all of us. So thank you so much for sharing.
Sure.
Okay, if I say investing, being an investor, what do you say?
Investor as far as in the business, or?
Because, well, from my understanding, you do a lot of investing in yourself, right? And you work with a lot of investors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you take it.
Investing means opportunity. Investing means education to me. And so when we were at a mastermind and I had asked Gary, I said, when is the best time to invest? And he said, anytime you find something that meets your criteria. So before you invest, and this is what we counsel our clients as well, is somebody goes, I want to be an investor. I have $1 million. And then they don't have a criteria, then they're going to get so delayed and so bogged down, because every opportunity that comes to them might look good, but they're so frozen to move. So if you have a very, very clear direction of what your purpose is for that investment vehicle, is appreciation, is it cash flow, is it, land banking, once you have a very clear idea of what you want, when that opportunity comes, if it matches your numbers, just jump. Don't time the market. If it matches what your goal is, jump on it.
Got it. I
So
like
the first thing you need to do is be very, very clear with your goal. What do you want to do with that investment?
Thank you so much. That was a good pointer. I appreciate that. Okay, let's really dig deep. What are some of the target areas you use to generate leads from?
So believe it or not, if you look at our business, 90+% is referrals.
And so you have a database, right?
We have a database.
Coaching this morning. You have a what, Caroline?
We have a database. Right? And Carl Petit said it best: if you're not dating your database, somebody else is.
Right. Yeah.
And so your question, Michelle, is how do you prevent somebody cheating, within your database or cheating on you? Because I guarantee you're not the only newsletter to subscribe to, or you're not the only, list that they're on. And so why we're so heavily referral based is I get that question a lot, is really knowing your standards. Your reputation is as good as your standards, and making sure that you follow that standard. And I know some people I've been on calls with before, they've heard me say this, and I'll say it again. It's like going to a 5-star, 4 Michelin star restaurant, and then you have the 7-course meal paired with all the wines, and everything's wonderful until you get to the dessert and there's a fly in the dessert. What are they going to talk about the rest of their lives when they're talking about this restaurant? They're going to be talking about that fly in the dessert. So how do you prevent that fly from getting in the first place? And when they do find that fly, if it flies there, how did you recover from it? So that whole experience, we want to make sure that everything's systematized. The standards, it's all standards. And we're always checking the standards. It's never set and forget it. Every transaction is an opportunity for us to elevate our standards, and also not just maintain, but elevate. And so people think, I finished a transaction, so this client needs to send me a referral. That's not true. Have you earned that referral? Have you earned the right to be referable? Because when somebody's giving your name to their best friend or their coworker, their reputation is at risk. So we take it so seriously. When a referral comes in, we treat them even better than a come list to me call. We treat them even better because we hold our referrers' reputation in very high regard as well. We need to protect that.
I love that. I love that a lot. Thank you so much. So talking about, you mentioned the Ritz-Carlton earlier. We actually are going to be studying that book, right? And I think that is phenomenal. I want to get that one coach who is part of luxury out to do a class with our market center. So I don't know.
That's a really great idea. The gold standard, is that what you're talking about, the book? That's mandatory reading on our team. When somebody joins our team, it is good to great, gold standard, the one thing, the MREA, better together, and 5, the book called 5. It's a very short book, but it puts us in the right frame of mind.
So when I say Ritz-Carlton, what does that mean to you though, as for your team?
It means consistent standard. I can go to any Ritz anywhere in the world, and I know that their standard of care is always the same. I was on a luxury panel with Gary and Brady, and I was talking about an example, and some of you might have heard it, is that you could walk into a 2-star hotel and you ask them where the elevator is. They'll just show like it's down the hall, around the corner, just go that way, right? And then you go to a 5-star hotel, they'll say, hello, Mrs. Ho, how are you? The elevator? Here, let me take you. They'll take you down the hall, they'll take you around the corner, they'll press the button for you, they'll wait and chat with you while you're waiting for the elevator, they'll wait for you to get in, and they'll say goodbye as the door is closing. So those are I think, a good visual of what service standards are.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, what is your best script you use to create an interest and to get in the door for a listing?
You know what? you're going to hate me for saying this, but I don't have a script. I'm actually very present in the moment when we're talking to people. And I think the most important, you meet them where they are, because we don't, they're not cookie cutter. People are not cookie cutter. They're where they are in their lives is very, very different. So you have to be an active listener and understand who this person is, where are they in their lives, and how can you serve them? And that's basically, once you get those conversations going and they understand that you're genuine and you're knowledgeable, that's the most important thing. So if you're wanting to get into luxury or getting into a market that you're not quite sure about, educate yourself. If you're a new agent, the first thing I would do is just look at the MLS every single day. Look at the neighborhoods you're interested in. Become that economist of choice, because once they find out you're a realtor, what's their first question? Is how's the market? And you're sitting like, oh, it's great. And you don't have anything to follow up. What does that look like? You have those few minutes to really talk about the market, and not just the numbers. How does it compare to last year? How does it compare to 5 years or 10 years from now? So when you're speaking that language, no matter how new you are, people are going to listen differently.
Yeah, knowledge is power, right? So when you're giving it to them, make sure you know your market. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you see yourself? When you're out there getting a listing, what makes you different? What makes your team different?
Wow, that's I think that's a question for our clients. But so I remember when early on, I went in for a listing appointment. It was one of the first ones I've had. This guy was a rocket scientist. Literally, he was a rocket scientist, and he was one of the people who worked on the Google driverless cars. Okay, brilliant guy. And they were selling their home, and they were interviewing 5 agents. I was one of 5. 4 of them were neighborhood experts and were big names, veterans. And we end up getting the listing. So I asked him, I said, and I went in shaking, right? So yeah, I asked him, thank you so much for selecting us. May I ask why? You interviewed 5 people and 4 of them were incredible. You would have been in good shape with any one of them. Why did you choose us? And he said, you're the only one that asked me questions about me. You're the only one that spent more time talking about our goals than talking about your track record. So I think the special sauce for our team is that we really, really listen. And I keep saying, meet them where they are. And really, I think that's probably it, active listening.
That's wonderful. And obviously you already said Gary Keller is that way as well. So that's important.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, give us a picture of what your listing presentation looks like. Do you walk in with the listing presentation? Do you do
No. Yeah. So first of all, I don't, for me, we call it listing conversation. I think you can kind of see the pattern here. It's all about talking and conversation and consulting, right? So it's a listing conversation. And when we send the invite, it says listing conversation. We always send a pre-listing packet. Back in the day when we could send paperwork and give paper, we would always deliver a listing packet. And then it's a beautiful customized folder with all our information. And it's a bit about our team, our sales record, a few examples of our brochures. Our brochures are beautiful. They're different in that when you touch the paper, unconsciously, they're already knowing, okay, this team spends money or not spends money, but there's an elevated kind of element to this team. So the quality of the paper, the quality of your print is so important. Your presentation is important. That's their first look at who you are and what they're going to expect when you walk in that door. And I also add comps in there because they're looking at Zillow, they're looking at Redfin, you're seeing those estimates. So numbers don't lie, right? So I send comps in there. So already they're used to the numbers that I'm going to be talking about later on. So it gets about us out of the way. It gets the comps out of the way. It gets kind of the marketing material out of the way so that they know what to expect. They kind of have a sense of who you are already. So when you walk in the door for that listing conversation, you can just concentrate on them.
I love it. Love it. Does anybody have any questions regarding that? I don't see, the only thing I see in the chat is if you can list the books again. That's
Yeah, MREA, of course, the one thing, Good to Great, The Gold Standard, which is the book from the Ritz-Carlton, Better Together from Simon Sinek, is actually a picture book about teamwork, and what is it?
five.
Oh, yeah, the number five.
Mhm.
That's a very easy book as well. It gets people thinking about in 5 years, where would they want to be? And not just business wise, but like, hey, you used to be a dancer in your teens and you love dancing. Why are you not dancing again? Build that into your life. It's not just all about business. We have to look at everybody holistically.
You know what's so funny is I had that for the ALC clinic maybe 8 years ago or something like that. Yeah, it's because I mean that book it's been around for a long, long time.
It has, it's still relevant.
Right? Oh yeah, I totally agreed with that. Yeah. Okay. Um, how often, especially in your area, does the commission come up? And what do you say?
Commissions
As
come up every single time, but I bring it up.
okay, tell me about that, please.
And so, by we get to that conversation, we say, at this point of the conversation, do you have any more questions or anything else I can answer? You're like, oh, no, like, you're probably wondering about fees. And so in the state of California, so I go into that, what you decide to refer out. There's a lot of the legal issues with commissions and everything right now, but this is what I say. In the state of California, commissions are not set. And historically, it runs anywhere between 5% and 6%. 6% when it's really, we see a more difficult market, more of a buyer's market. And why is that? And the 6% is split out between you're offering what you're offering to the agent representing the buyer and bringing them to your home, and also the list side, which we'll talk about in a second. So what we recommend is that as an we see anywhere from 2.5% to 3% in our area. And so when it's a little tougher to sell, or there's a lot of competition on the market, we see sellers choose to go up to the higher end to the full 3%. And we've definitely seen a few years when that's been, sometimes they've even offer more. But then we don't recommend anything less than 2.5, because when you're under 2.5, you're seen as a discount listing. And that's not something we want. And then takes us to the list side. And so we operate on an escalating scale. So if we are doing the work up front, we're fronting the money up front for the construction, et cetera, or our project coordinating, our clients pay us this. Our clients pay us 3.5%. There have been instances where clients have paid more. And then so it's a scale, it's a sliding scale. So I do tell them that if it's very, very simple, and it's just cleaning up and whatever, our rate is 2.5. It really is around our area where we are. So that's how I explain it.
Well, I appreciate that. Anybody have any questions on that? That was a good script. I really like it. Okay, how does the current luxury market, hold on, I can't see it, I need to click it. How does the current luxury market compete with the regular residential market compare?
Yeah, compare. So I think after COVID, before it was luxury, regular market, and the entry level market, and then condo market. And then after COVID, now it's like 5-6 different markets. So luxury is broken out now into ultra luxury, because we've got 30, 40, 60 million homes where we are. Then we've got luxury. And even though we're the peninsula, luxury price point is different from town to town, city to city. So what we found was the ultra luxury really slowed down, because when the pandemic hit, everybody took off. So there wasn't a lot of inventory. They weren't selling their homes. They were buying second, third, fourth homes. We had a client go to Montana, bought a ranch in Montana, and he's been there, but he didn't sell his home here. So ultra luxury had been quiet for a while. Luxury, there was an opportunity for people we've got a lot of Silicon Valley, tech people around here. I'm sure they're going to where you are as well. They're finding that during COVID that they need more space. Maybe they have family coming to live with them, their parents living with them, the kids are home, they're working from home, they need more space. So we saw a lot of people move into the luxury space. So ultra luxury has been quiet. It's starting to pick up now as companies are talking about bringing people back. So Apple announced that Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are suggested. Then for the next few months in September, it's going to be required. Google, Visa, Apple, they're all coming back with back to school. Back to work guidelines. So people are coming back for sure. So we're starting to see ultra luxury change. The long answer, sorry.
It's a good answer. We're all learning from you, so I think it's wonderful. Okay, so talk about your strategies on your follow up when you meet with the seller. What's the next thing if they're not saying let's list right now?
Yeah, so I for me, and it's very different for everybody else. I won't give them a price, right? That day, because I do have to do my homework and I want to show them that we're doing our homework. And so I do follow up. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you. First of all, when somebody sends a referral, we send a gift to that referrer right away. You want to reward the behavior. We don't send the gift after we close, because that could take a while, right? And what if they send us 5 and we didn't close them? So we want to reward the behavior. We send them a little box of chocolates and it says, thank you for being so sweet, for thinking of us all the time. Really appreciate it. And then we send them another gift at we close. So that's the first step. So it was all systematized. Then there's a pre-list, then we confirm the appointment, then we go for the appointment, then it's a follow-up, thank you so much. And then I always bring something too to the listing conversation, whether it's a small plant, cookies, or whatever.
Touch. That's a nice touch.
Always, you show up, always show up with something. Then it's a full-on analysis. So what I do is a full analysis of where we think their home should be positioned and then how we would market. So it's a whole marketing strategy. And then we go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm like looking at how do you win in a multiple offer situation?
It's hard, but I tell you, I know you had Kyle on a few weeks ago. Yeah, so Kyle's our lead buyer's agent. He's amazing. And so many years ago, developed this kind of buyer package. And when listing agents are dealing with so many offers, they want easy. So we want to make sure that we do our job, not only our job, but that we make their job easy. So I think the listing packet is incredibly important. If you're saying non-contingent, that box better be checked as non-contingent, right? So I don't know how many times I've seen offers come our way. They say it's non-contingent, but the default dates are still there. Those are agents actually, like, if they're this messy on such an important deal for their clients, can imagine how messy it's going to be during escrow. So that plays a role in when I'm talking with sellers and I'm evaluating all the offers. So as a listing agent, I'm thinking, why would this seller take this offer? So when we're on the buy side, we want to do a little bit of their job for them. we have our lender call them, let them know. We have the full packet all signed, ready to go. The contract is written as intended. And because of our packet and the way we present it, and before we present it, we're in contact with the listing agent all the time, not pestering them like, hey, what's going on? But really just genuine. How's it going? What does it look like? And we're asking them even the day of that morning. We ask for an opportunity to compete. Before you select somebody else, would you please give us an opportunity to compete? And so many, many times over the last few months, we were not the highest, but we got that call back. You're not the highest, but your package was put together the best. We knew more about the quality of your buyer than other agents that just kind of submitted paperwork. So would you like to compete? And we say yes, and we get it.
That's interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so there was a question down here. What?
Command.
Yes, thank you.
We do use command. We actually lab command for teams. So we got a lot of notes for the team back home in Austin.
You and I talked about this a bit ago, and you're like, "Don't ask that question, Michelle."
Did you feel the dagger eyes come through the screen? But we do use command, and we've got Sisu right now because command is getting there. Under the direction of all our new executives, it's getting there. But we also needed something a little bit more powerful to us. Like, here are our goals. Here, I mean, it goes. So we use Sisu, SISU. A lot of the top teams and top agents are using Sisu. It's fantastic and very reasonable. So we're integrating Sisu with command right now.
Got it. Got it. If there was one question that I haven't asked, what would it be? What is it that you think, okay, I need to share this. I need to share this.
Oh gosh. If you feel stuck, don't feel reach out for help. And I feel like Keller Williams is a buffet. Right? This company provides a buffet of classes for you. Whatever you need, it's there. It's up to you to stand up and get to the buffet line and take what you need and put on your plate. But you don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to take everything, then you get overwhelmed, right? So be extremely clear about what you want to accomplish. So by the end of this year, by December 31st, 2021, and you look back and go, wow, that was an incredible year. I just had an incredible year in my business life, my personal life. What needed to happen for you to say that? So once you answer that question, then you're going to need to know what you need to do in your business, and then go to the buffet line and take only what is going to get you there. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it does. So thank you. And I agree, because if you get too much, what happens? You drop it all. You just don't drop one, you drop them all. Yeah, so good analogy there. Okay, if you had to do it all over again and you're starting from scratch, what would change? What would you?
I would have came to come to KW earlier. That's a God honest truth. I told Gary, I said, KW saved my life. I actually was out on health medical leave for 3 months because this business takes a toll on you, and I didn't know how to do it. And I was in an environment where they couldn't teach me where I needed to go. And so, I think just be coachable. If I had to do it all over again, I mean, I was always wanting more information, seeking for coaching. I just didn't get it. I would have started farming earlier.
Okay, so talk about that.
So, as as an individual agent also, I was so high touch concierge. It was every single transaction. It was a family transaction to me. And so my manager at that time said, just farm where your business takes you. I wasn't intentional about it. So if our business is such that, we're on track for 90 million this year, it's just the two of us right now. If we're that intentional about referrals, can you imagine if we just turn on the spigot, if I had farmed earlier? Because it takes 9 to 12 months, right, to actually get some traction. So gosh, I've been in business for 17 years. Can you imagine if I had really farmed, what the business would look like now?
That's incredible. Okay, so when we are talking about your teams, what are your standards and what are your expectations?
Standards are high. Standards number one, first and foremost, it has to be a cultural fit. And so when the interview process is extremely lengthy for us, we follow career visioning to a T, and we take our time. And I don't care if the person on the other side is trying to rush us along. Nobody's going to rush our hiring process because it has to be right. And Karina Loken said, I remember her saying that she already signed, she was ready to make somebody an offer. And they take a long time too, to make an offer to somebody. And that day they were going to make the offer, one of her team members came and said, I don't have a good feeling about this. She stopped everything because team members know what the culture is like. Team members knows what the standards are. So if somebody has hesitation, then that means something's missed. So what's the question? Standards on the team?
and expectations.
Yeah, so cultural fit, and we did really into their work, their life story. So that's part of the CV process. When you look at their life story, are they on an upward trajectory? And you're listening for language. Is it victim language or victor language? I want to hear victor language, even if their trajectory has been like this, as long as it's going like this, it's going upwards, and I'm hearing, this is what I learned. I failed at this, but I learned to do that. That's what I want to hear.
Oh my
If
God.
I'm hearing is my manager's fault or this person did give me opportunity, then thank you. we're not a match, like as Mo would say. So Victor language, coachability, and the willingness to go above and beyond. So being anticipatory. So our team, we always talk about anticipatory service.
I love that.
Yeah, knowing what the client needs before they even tell you they need it and addressing it. If they have, and I've said this before in some panels, if they have asked us, if they ask us for something or follow up on something, we're already behind. So we need somebody who is very anticipatory and, you know, just really good people and genuine people, genuine. I don't know. This is more kind of cultural, kind of the
Right.
the EQ stuff. We look for.
I love these examples that you're giving, and I really like how you had that high expectation. Okay, so what happens? You've hired me, and I didn't. Clearly, I wasn't the right fit. I wasn't showing up on time. I mean, I was showing up on time, but I wasn't. You know, if you're supposed to be there at 9 o'clock, you should be there at 8:45, right? I mean, you and I
Mhm.
talked about this, and or if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, or you do it, you know, not 100%, you do it 75%, you think you're just like skating through. No. What do you do?
No, we all have our standards all written down. And so we have our weekly check-ins. And so if I'm seeing that's a pattern, then we're doing daily check-ins. And then they are put on a PIP, the performance improvement plan. We have a discussion because you never know. So I always come from a place of curiosity. So if they were performing before and then all of a sudden it's changing, maybe there's something happening in their lives. And so it would be a very personal conversation, like what's happening. You know, I'm noticing that um, things are sliding or getting missed. Is there anything I need to know? What can I help you with? And when you come from kind of that curiosity and really listen to what they're telling you, you'll have a good idea where they are. If it continues and they're not meeting your metrics, then you put them on a PIP. Clarity is kind. You know, clarity is kind. So everybody needs to know what you expect of them and what they need to expect from you. So if they're unclear about what their metrics are or when they need to show up, or that's on you. Every finger that you point, you've got 3 more pointing back at you. So, so if you're hiring people, leadership is hard. Managing people is hard. But if you got the right people, you don't have to manage them.
Oh, 100% right. Yes. Okay, so I just saw a question here. Um, is it better or more beneficial to be on a team as to opposed to working as an individual?
I think you should take your KPA and see if you're gosh, that thing is scary, how accurate it could be. So there are people that I knew, like I've made mistakes, I'm still making mistakes, but hiring mistakes too, like, oh, I like this person so much, I'm following the process. And I knew that, you know, on the buyer's agent team, it was kind of a lower fit, but everything else looked like it could be a perfect fit. But guess what? Everything the KPA said showed up in their performance. So I did a bad job. So if you are trying to decide whether measure yourself against a mega agent and see if you can be a mega agent. If you have, not if you can be anything you want, but naturally, are you a fit for a mega agent? they're going to show you responsiveness, assertiveness, all of that sociability, whether or not you are compliant or non-compliant. Are you like a maverick, or are you this rule follower? So once you know your KPA, then you'll know whether or not, this is just me talking, you'll know whether or not you'd be naturally suited for a mega.
I love
It doesn't
that.
mean that you can't be, because I'm kind of a moderate fit for a mega, so it's actually harder for me. So I've learned how to do it, and I've studied it, so I've learned how to do it. So it doesn't mean just because you're lower on the mega fit that you can't be a mega. It's just
Right.
takes a lot more.
So the KPAs, it's worth 25%, right, of the hiring process. And it could be off, right? It's just the way you ask the questions to get clarifying questions to
Yes.
see where it is fitted. And that's a learning process too. So people who have taken career visioning only once, I encourage you to take it 5 times, because I am telling you, if I would have dug in a little bit deeper, I would have learned more about, the people who were taking the KPA, if you will. Um, yes. So if you're growing a team or thinking about growing a team, you need to take career visioning.
Yes, because they don't just, I've taken it 5 times. So I took Recruit Select twice and CV 5 times, 7 classes on hiring and team building, because every time you go, you hear something different, right? So not just how to hire, but then the second portion is, how do you train, lead, motivate? How do you get them to their 30, 60, 90? How do you grow them? You spend so much time hiring them. They walk in the door and you go, good luck,
Yeah.
yay.
Good luck with that.
Terrible. No. Don't do that.
Right. Right. Yeah. You got to have a plan. So some people are like, well, I've taken career visioning. And I'm like, so where's the 30, 60, 90?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, you need all of it, or you're going to lose them again.
You will lose them. And you don't want to lose good people.
Right. 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 But it also teaches you how to fire people who
Yes.
quit.
Yep. Absolutely. And we went through that last year. I had to go through it, unfortunately, and it was very, very painful. But how do you exit with grace?
Right, right. Okay, so let's talk about your team. What does the organizational chart look like?
Wow, it's really evolved. We got really, really big. We had an expansion team 2019, 2020. And I decided to contract that and kind of put that on the shelf in Southern Cal. Even though we were winning awards for expansion team, I realized that was taking so much out of me that ultimately my passion was really here. And I love that KWI, Gary, and MAPS was hearing this, because I don't know if you guys heard, but it wasn't about the big teams anymore. They're talking about the solopreneurs. You can have an incredible business as an individual agent with some support staff, if that's what you choose and that's what you're happy about. So we can feel a lot of people have that fatigue of wanting to go bigger. I have to go bigger to be successful. That's not true. What success is what you're netting. The bottom line. A lot of big teams out there look like they're doing amazingly well, and they are, but if you look at their P&L and their profit at the end of the day, that says a lot. What's your question? What was your question?
I was asking about the organizational chart, but I think you put
Oh yes. Okay. So we've expanded, we've contracted. And so we have a director of operations, Luann. She started off as a buyer agent for us, and then our DOO position had a vacancy. So she was actually a perfect fit for DOO. We have Kyle, who is our lead buyer partner, and I'm the lead listing agent. I have a listing manager, full-time listing manager, that helps us create the vision from the moment we get the listing to transforming the home. And she managed all the vendors. She's the one going to Home Depot now, not me. And then we have a transaction coordinator, and then we have a director of marketing.
nice.
So small and mighty.
That doesn't sound small, but yes. Okay, so I'm going to shift gears. When you got the phone call that Gary wanted your son to be interviewed for Mega Camp, what did that feel like?
I was tricked. No, So I got the phone call that Gary wanted me to do concierge lab. So what happened was and this is talking about active listening. So I'll share the story with you. We were in the room, right, in Austin. And this is a few years ago, 2019. And we were talking about wins and losses. And I raised my hand. I said, we're losing to Compass agents because they have this concierge program. I've been actually fronting my own money for the last 10, 11 years for our listings. And I said, what are we going to do about that? And of course, at that time, he was focused on command. He was focused on all these other things of the business, which he had to do. And he looked at me in the room full of people and he said, hold that thought. And he goes, everybody take a break. So 10 minutes later, we come back and he says, and he has this financial guy right next to him. He says, this is what I'm committing to you. We will start a concierge lab. And, you know, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, okay, well, I commit to you by September, something's going to happen. Great. So I wrote him an email afterwards. Thank you so much. This is why I joined the company. You really hear us. By August, I got the invitations, like, you are part of the lab. You're the core person to be part of the lab. That was pretty incredible. That was my first taste of, man, this is an amazing person we're following. So for masterminds, my coach, Sajak Patel, he is the one that said, hey, is your son up for like talking? I said, sure. And so I connected him with my son. He's like, fantastic. And then we get the invitation to Spring Masterminds recording. So we were bamboozled into it.
Wow, how amazing that. Jeez. And what a very big opportunity. Very big opportunity.
Big
Because
opportunity.
his YouTube just went crazy.
It did. And what was interesting was after that session aired, how many people reached out to me to talk about their business and their growth and mindset for their children. So what I said in Masterminds is very, very true, that you take what you learn in the business world and you apply in your family, the mindset, the goals, how to work through crisis. It really just bleeds into it. Was actually intentional to bring it back to the family. So it was great. The lives touched that way.
Okay, so I just thank you so much for sharing. I really, really appreciate that. I just wait, I'm gonna somebody there. Okay. Let's talk about the concierge program.
Mhm.
What is that?
So we labbed it for about a year and a half. So, you know, Gary's very intentional. He wants to lab everything, make sure it's right. So for example, when Compass Concierge came out and said, we're going to give you X amount of money, we're going to give the sellers a credit card to use to improve their homes. And they were being used for like 10, 15, $150,000 projects, right? And that was a great concept, but number one, where are they getting the money? How are they funding that? Number two is the sellers started using it and buying vacations. And I think like, yeah, there's only no interest, so I'll pay it back after the house sells. So I'm going to actually use this money to do other things.
Wow.
There was no monitoring, no control over it. Then they're like, okay, yeah, I've got this credit card and I'll redesign my bathroom. And all of a sudden they do like pink bathrooms with brown tile. So Gary's like, no, that's not going to happen. So let's lab it. So he selected a few of us who were doing it already and really digging into the micro markets, what actually brings money back. So for every dollar spent, what $4 gets back, what's worth doing. Paint, carpet, all that staging. How much does it cost? How long does it take? So they really wanted that data. So they took that data and they created Keller Offers Ready to Sell program, which launched a few months ago, almost 6 months ago. And so what it is, so Keller Offers, I'm sure you all know, is Gary's vision is to have a one-stop shop for our clients. So whether it's mortgage, whether it's insurance, whether it is home care, whether it's all these things that we can have, it's a one-stop shop. So what Keller Ready to Sell is that it is an equity-based or is a credit-based program. So if you're at a listing appointment and you know that the house, if you spent $30,000 into it, that you could get another 100,000 more, it's worth doing, right? So the sellers you would go online and then fill out a credit worthiness. And then if you have a 700 and above credit score, they'll immediately give you a loan. They'll give the sellers a loan to fund the work that needs to be done before they go on market. And they created a general, a list of contractors and stagers and handy people in your area. And these are the approved vendors, the Keller Williams approved vendors that you can be using. So we no longer have to fund our own money to do this. It's a great opportunity for your clients and your sellers to get more for their home. And so that's what the program is. So no interest. Sorry.
Are you using that a lot?
Yeah, so we use it selectively, and we still front some of our projects, but we are selective on when we offer this. It is a great opportunity for people who may not have that kind of partition aside for projects. Right.
Because, you know, I've been on the calls, right, for the past couple months, and a couple of other agents have chosen to be on the call. So what I'm thinking is at my next TL mastermind is to see, maybe we need to mastermind this at our level, not just like the phone calls that we have to be on, you know, to learn about it, but to talk to the agents who are really actually doing it. And so we can get a better grasp, because I think it's all good when you're getting all these things thrown at you and you're like, oh my gosh, now what, where do I go now?
Right. Yeah. So Galen Ziegler, she's the COO of Keller Offers. She would be a good person. She and Jennifer Owens can probably jump on a call with your team. And they're rolling it out selectively and strategically. So I don't know if it's in your area now or if it's coming. So that's a great question for Galen.
Well, slowly, if you will, right? So it's Carolyn whom?
Galen Ziegler. I'll send you her information.
Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. I'm looking at the questions here. Do you own your own SEO? And do you own Google Ads?
Yeah, so the MREA2 is coming out. And so we really follow the model. Oh, and any agents here on the screen in the meeting today, if you don't have your numbers, if you're not keeping track of your numbers, if you don't have a P&L, profit and loss statement, I highly recommend that you get one ASAP, because that is how you're going to track how well you're doing.
Yeah, say that one more time about knowing your numbers. And
know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, how can you track if you're winning or not? And you could be like, I'm selling $5 million homes. I'm selling $1 million homes here and there. I'm doing great. And then at the end of the day, you look at your P&L and you're at a loss. How great are you doing, really? And so control your spending. So we really follow the model 30, 30, 40, 30 expenses, 30 cost of sales. We're trying and we're going for 40% profit. We have never hit that before. This year, we're being very intentional for that. So we follow the model. So for lead gen, in our price point, so right now price points are what? If you have, they go by GCI, 150 GCI is your goal, or 340 or 640 or 970 or $1 million or $1.6 million, 250, 2.5 million or 3.4. We're kind of in between the $1.6 million and 2.5 million. And so, you know, lead gen for us, it should be around 8%, 7 to 8%, depending where what column we're falling into. So right now our lead gen's at 6%. So COVID taught us, and Gary said, trim the fat, trim the fat, trim the fat, right? So we really, when COVID hit, we had to shut down and go, oh my gosh, there's no business coming in for the next X amount of months. What do we do to survive? We trim 10% and we trim 10% again, and we trim 10% again. And so it's really interesting of all the little ancillary things that we pay for that we don't need to pay for, that do nothing for us. So hold your money accountable. Make sure you're looking at, Gary looks at his numbers every single week. Every single week, he's looking at the numbers and he's asking questions. We do it once a month. And so line by line, how are we doing? Play red light, green light with your money. Okay, we know farming takes 9 to 12 months, but let's keep track of how it's doing. How many engagements is it happening? How many clicks? How many opens? How many people are responding? Then there are other things that we do. Okay, this ad didn't do well. So we pay Facebook ads through command, right? So some did really well, some didn't. Let's not just So Gary talks about dumb money and dumb money and smart money. So if we're throwing money away, it's just sitting there, we're getting 2 or 3 engagements, we're spending dumb money, dumb money. So we're always evaluating where our money is going and how it's performing and holding it accountable. So yes, so we don't spend a lot on marketing. It's really, we've learned to do social. Social is free, right? Social is free. So we put, and we tried that. So yes, we don't do a lot of Google ads. We have minimum spend there. Our goal is to get our reviews up. So our DOO has a responsibility to get to X amount of reviews on Google. So that's how we're looking at things.
Your VOO?
DOO, or Director of Ops.
Okay,
So one of her measures, one of how we know she's winning, is that we are getting these reviews every time we close somebody.
Nice, nice. I would love to see your expectation list. I think that's so amazing. Yes, I like that. Okay, so any other questions, you guys? I see a few questions regarding Keller offers. I'll get that information to you, and I will get the information from Caroline as well regarding having a speaker. And we'll dig a little bit deeper into that. I believe we're just rolling out slowly in our area, so that's
Yeah.
probably going on.
Yeah, and another reason why they're doing a little bit slowly is because they need to find the right vendors.
Right.
So if you guys can start giving them like trusted vendors, then they'll be able to build it out faster.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Caroline, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to meet with us.
It was such a pleasure. It's great to see all your faces. I know I've seen some names, so it was a pleasure to be here. You're amazing, Michele. You guys are so blessed to have her.
You make me cry. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So I would like to have you on again, probably like the end of the year, if that's okay.
My pleasure. Of course.
I always got to close with that. You know that. I got to get the next appointment.
I know you do.
So funny. All right. Thank you. And you have a blessed day, and say hello to your son for all of us.
I will. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the contest. We're going to talk a little bit about open houses, and we're going to talk about what's going on with COVID really quick. I know it's close to noon, but I thought you guys were coming up with some more questions for her, so we are going to go a little over. Okay, so Chris and Rachel, I saw you on. Who wants to go ahead and start? Maybe not. Are they off?
Trying to. Hi.
Hi. Okay, go ahead.
So on the 15th, a lot is changing. The only rule that we really are going to have in place is to wear face masks. Everything else that we've been following, as far as cleaning, posting the picture signs, pictograms, etc., the sign-in sheets, the PEDs, the number of people allowed, that's all going away on the 15th. So
Wow.
crazy.
Woo woo! Can we get a little party going on? That's awesome. Yeah, good, good, good. What else should we know? I don't know where Chris is, but
So they're saying that unless people are vaccinated, that if they're fully vaccinated, they don't have to wear the mask. Another thing to keep in mind is that your seller still has the right. So you need to get whatever it is in writing with your seller regarding what rules they want in place. If they still want people to wear face masks, if they still only want a certain number of people, if they still want the pictograms, if they still want cleaning, they have the right to give those, and you need to get that in writing, an agreement with your seller in writing regarding what their instructions are. And how do you monitor who is vaccinated and who's not? So just be really careful of that, because people would be using that, and maybe one unvaccinated person comes in. So they are saying for open houses, everybody still wear the face masks, etc., regardless, because how do you know at an open house that one unvaccinated person doesn't come in? So I don't know what form it would be, but I would imagine that's probably going to be changing too, just like everything else. So stay tuned as we get closer to that date. and we just kind of have to go with the flow. So I don't have the exact form out, but we can also use, an addendum to the listing agreement or a modification of terms. And we can also use the CLA RAA as well. And it may even be updated now, but I don't know. I would assume it's probably not going to be changed quite yet. Sorry, I start jumping into questions that I saw popping up. So just be aware, though, that an open house, how do you monitor that regarding, people just walking in and, just going under the flag that, oh, I'm fully vaccinated, and maybe they aren't. So they are saying for us to still wear the face mask.
Anybody have any questions? Should we still be using the COVID? Oh, you already went over that. Okay. Anything else that we should know that we haven't talked about? Or so are we able to have team meetings in the offices stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
regarding the team meetings, what we are going to do is still do Zoom, but we can have the you guys could hang out in the offices like we used to, right, and have meetings there. And what I'm trying to think of an idea of maybe like one office. I'll be there, the first Monday of the month, and then we can have the team meeting coming there, and then we put it out on Zoom. So I need to figure out a way. I don't know if Patrick's still on here. I know Brian's still on here, and so we need to be able. We need a camera of some sort, right? We need a camera of some sort in each of the offices so we can Zoom when we're doing meetings.
So I also just want to put out there that there are no tier groups anymore, but we still need to verify that our local guidelines are going to abide by the state guidelines.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So most of them are going to adhere to it eventually, but we need to check those. Because
door knocking? There's questions about door knocking.
Right. So again, we're going to have to abide by our local guidelines, which I did not check that today before the meeting to see what Santa Claus and San Joaquin are doing. I'm pretty sure that they will, align with state, but we don't know. So that we're still in that kind of open area where we're still changing. I don't think there was anything regarding pop-bys and any of that yet. But let's see. No posted entries.
This is also encouraging, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, things are definitely. Let's see. What about office reopenings? New rules for office reopenings will depend on Cal OSHA, which right now is deferring any decision. So regarding reopening, so we no longer have to have those the things signed, regarding the 5 pages afterwards, a lot that goes with the PED regarding those rules of how to abide. We don't have to have those done, but regarding the offices reopening, they're still silent. So we're still in that we're in that growing phase again, you guys, where it's probably going to be, yay, it looks like good news is coming, but we have to kind of,
Right.
It's probably going to change.
We still need to sign in. We should be signing in, but we don't need to take the temperature and things like that. So we need to make sure we are signing in.
Right.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You guys, please be aware that the signups are out for the Lake Day. That's going to be in July. So make sure you click on the links and sign up. If you're going to bring your children, make sure you sign up, because in a couple weeks, I'm going to have to put in the food order. So we'll have to cut it off. So let's make sure we do that. And then also, I don't know if you've been watching, Kim from the Halstead group is #1 for our contest, and then Ashley, and then Kyle. So it's pretty interesting to watch this list, the way it's been growing and changing up. So exciting there. So I'm excited for you guys. If there's something you want for the next contest, the next quarter, please let me know. Oh, thank you, Patty. Where are we here? Okay. So we have our all region event that's coming up on the 9th. So make sure you look for that and make sure you connect and just click on the link. It's obviously in Facebook, and it's obviously been emailed out a few times. Every morning she emails it out. So that's coming around the pike. We have career visioning as well. So this is the class that Caroline's was talking about, right? So, and this is all of it. It's career visioning, 30, 60, 90, and success through others. So if you are contemplating on growing a team, this is a must. It is a must. So please, please make sure you lock that in. And then we have our brokers coming up on June 14th, and it's going to be talking about the new disclosures and the different restrictions and the changes that are coming up, because we are going to be getting a new contract. I'm sure you guys know there's a new contract coming out. Oh, God bless you.
Oh, you're not muted.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, someone needs to mute themselves. Okay, awesome. And then on June 17th, Facebook ads, right? And then I know in June also, Rachel Adams is going to be doing there we go. Oh my gosh. So this wasn't obviously a good hire. She's thinking ahead. I don't even have to ask for things, and Patty just does it. Okay, what am I thinking right now? I'm hungry, Patty. No, I'm joking. Okay, so this is Rachel Adams. She's coming out on, not coming to the office. She'll be Zooming in on June 28th at 11 o'clock. So it's a Monday, and it's part of our Monday series. So make sure you chime in. A lot of people, when they are learning about our offices, the Central Valley, I always share them our YouTube channel, because I have the majority of our team meetings recorded, and they are on our YouTube channel. And a lot of people chat about hers, and they also chat about Diego, the Moneyball one. So it's pretty interesting to get the feedback. So, and it helps me to know who to invite back as well, or who to interview. So obviously Diego's going to be the one that I interview over and over and over, because everybody just loves him. Okay. What else do you want to see, you guys? What is something you want to see in our team meetings? Who do you want me to interview? Who do you want me to, to lasso in? Oh, yes, there is. There's still time to sign up for Bold. I would have to say I'm very, very proud of the Stockton Market Center, right? They've already reached their goal that the MAPS has actually set out for us. So we have all of our signups, which is so nice to have them 2 weeks in advance. So nice. Modesto, we need 5 more. So Modesto, Manteca, we need 5 more people, which actually I believe it's 4 right now. So that's good. And we're the only offices who have reached their goals so fast. So I'm very, very proud of you. I'm very proud that you guys see the value in Bold. So very proud. All right, you guys, what else? Anything? All right, I'm proud of each and every one of you, and I'm very, very grateful for you. And I thank you for showing up today and being a part of our team meeting and learning about how to push your ceiling, right? Because that's what we did today, was learn how to push our ceiling.
Michele,
Yes.
I don't know if I missed it or not, but did you ask everyone what their experiences have been with open houses?
Oh, no, I did not, but thank you, Tammy. So what? So you guys, open houses, what's going on? Have you been getting people there? Are they uncomfortable? Are they gathering? What's going on? Unmute yourself, please. Has anybody had an open house? No? Because
I thought I saw a few.
I had an open house this last Saturday. This is Mike Linville.
And Mike, share with us.
It wasn't too busy. We only had about 4 groups that passed through the house, but we had our sign-in sheets available with the 2 posted needed materials at the front. So it went fine. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody abided. Yeah, everyone was they were compliant, so it was good.
Awesome. Miguel.
Hey, Michele, we had 2 open houses, one in AJ Spanos West and one in Weston Ranch. AJ Spanos West had 32 parties. We had a line of agents and a line with no agents. And we asked them we actually have 2 agents per open house. So one agent will walk in one party and then we asked everybody to take 10 minutes or less, because obviously they can see people waiting. So the one in Western Rancho was just way too busy. It was almost 36 parties, but we made it work. It was a 4-hour span, so it was longer than normal because that's what it is. And everybody kind of understood the rules. They all kind of line up outside. It was amazing that everybody, so for us, it was 2 lines, one with agents, one without agents. So the ones with agents, we asked the agent to make sure they didn't touch stuff. So again, 2 agents is really what's taking for us right now, because we have to maintain that distance, and we actually feel safer about it. Our sellers feel safer about it. These were 2 occupied homes. So our sellers were actually glad. Actually, one of them had cameras inside, so we disclosed that. And they were glad that people were not touching stuff. So, and we told them coming in is please don't touch stuff. We turn on all the lights for you. We open all the doors for you. Just don't touch the handle. So it actually worked out pretty good, pretty structured. It was a lot of work though. So just so you know, it was a lot of work.
Miguel, did you have signs like Disneyland, like line starts here?
We had the big flag in front of the house. We had balloons on our signs, which I use the Mylar balloons because they wiggle like this and they catch people's attention in the sun, obviously. And we have a minimum, I think, of 8 signs per open house. So, and we advertised it.
And that's like in Tracy, there's a minimum of, I can't remember. We haven't done open houses in so
I
long.
think it's 6.
4.
4, 3, 4, 4.
You gotta have 4 signs,
Maximum 4.
maximum.
Really, really need to follow that, you guys, because I remember going to an association meeting where the Tracy Press had a picture of somebody's signs, and I was just praying to God it was not ours, and it wasn't, thank God. But so yeah, just know that people are watching, and people do turn each other in, even though they say they don't, but they do.
I know one of our Tracy agents had their signs picked up off the street and had to pay a fine to pick them back up, I believe.
Well, there you go. There you
Miguel,
go.
I have a quick question.
Yes, please.
Um,
Said after
About how many people without agents did you see? And did you get any good leads to?
Yeah, on Crestmore, we saw 22 people with agents and 13 without agents or with nobody that they're working with. So on AJ Spanos, we saw 15 people without agents and they were not working with anybody, and about 13 agents with their clients.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think we also we also logged that if you're working with an agent and you showed up at the open house, we just took the name of your agent in case they call us or send us anything, and we let them also in through the tour and just let them know that, okay, go ahead and reach back to your agent. That way they know that you already saw the house.
Miguel, how did you collect data from them? Did you do it electronically, or did you sign in for them, or?
I'm glad you said that. We actually have individual little forms, and they're an individual clipboard, and then we spray them after somebody touched them. And also we have the P forms there too for people that came without their agent, and they were already familiar how to sign in. So we collected the P forms as well. So, but yeah, we used a single page in a small little clipboard because we don't want people to be sharing it. So we probably had 10 clipboards per open house. And then every time we took that thing, we sprayed it, and then we let it dry, and then we sprayed it. And people feel comfortable about that.
Would you say that you probably collected more data because of the COVID guidelines than in the past?
No, we've done it like this all the time. We always have had this little sheet. So, and we, especially now though, people are so we tell them that we want to make sure that we collect their information in case anything happens. So now it's easier to get it versus before. So, and of course, we also tell them, hey, you can always reach out to us if you have any questions about COVID. That's no problem. So, and our client feels better about that because they want to know if we know where the individual came from. So.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Brian.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to share, I got a call last night from a lead I met at an open house 4 years ago.
Wow.
So you've been cultivating this person for 4 years.
What's that?
You've been working on him for 4 years, this lead.
actually, I found out where they live because they said they live nearby. So I went and saw their car in the driveway when I was done with open house, ran the address, sent them a calendar and a couple of note cards. And then since then, they've had that calendar posted on their refrigerator. They've moved that refrigerator out into the garage, but kept the calendar there and called me last night to sell their mom's house.
Nice.
That is really, really yeah.
So you may not get results right away, but down the road you'll get them.
It's Moneyball, right? Isn't that what Diego talking about? It's just you have to play Moneyball with them. Okay, so who else wanted to chat? I know a few people. There was one, but they left already, so I just wanted to make sure everybody had a moment. Do you want to talk about listings real quick before we close out? Who got a listing? I want 100. We want 100, you guys. We need to beat Fresno, okay? We have to. I mean, it was really weird, this closing, this transmittal. On each category, it's either we were under by 1 or we were over by 1. It was crazy. It's fun to watch her and I go back and forth. But yeah, I want to just take it. We got this. I know we have this. It's summer's coming. Go ahead, Brian.
But we had one that just went live at 130 East Maple in Stockton. It is just a cute little house. Well, it's 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. He has a man cave in his garage, but the garage you enter in off the alley, and it's right close to, you can step out of the house and see the Miracle Mile there in Stockton. So it's just an absolutely beautiful house. I think you guys should hop on the MLS and look at it and see if you got a client for it.
Do you have a price on that?
Oh man, that's Norma's job, and so I'm kind of lagging on that. So 130 East Maple, though, beautiful place.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Anybody else listing they want to tout?
I have one. I have a very, very motivated seller in Tracy. She's already found her suitable replacement property and we're in contract. So we need to get her sold. 1640 West Beverly in Tracy, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, almost 2,000 square feet. So please feel free to advertise it. Please go show it. You write an offer and let's get into contract.
I like it. I like it. All
Awesome.
right.
I have a couple I'd like to share.
Yes, please.
I've got one in Modesto. It's going to go live tomorrow. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, right under 1,200 square feet. It's going to be about, we still have to finalize the price because something's changed, but I'm thinking, mid 300s. It's right by the golf course in a court. Super cute starter, real clean, big backyard, possible RV access. So it's a great price for the location and the size and the condition. And then I've got another one that's going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. They're doing some work. It's also in Modesto and it's over by Mount Vernon, Tully area. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a little over 1,400 square feet, but it's great because it has a pool and they redid the kitchen, redid the floors, really cute, nice street too. And that one's going to be in the high 3s.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have one. It's been on the market for quite some time. It's in Galt. It's the horse property that I have out there. It's on 5 acres. It's 26007 North Graham Road. I say Acampo, but it's actually in Galt. The house itself is about 3,100 square feet. It has a shop. It has very nice equestrian facility on the property itself. So yes, please feel free to advertise it if you'd like.
How much is that one?
It's listed at 1.2. It is high. We're probably about $100,000 high. But he's just so, adamant. He's like, hey, if somebody wants to offer me, tell him to write an offer, then we'll negotiate, so he's just that type of seller. And he's going to be moving to Montana. And this is a second property, actually a third property for him. So he's not, he's just like, when I sell it type deal. But I want to sell it. So please, by all means.
That's right. Connect with me. Connect with me after the fact. I actually know a big team that all they do is equestrian. All they do is sell horse property. So they might have a buyer out of the area that we're not aware of.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. Okay.
I have 3 coming up. Two of them are in Lodi. One of them will be on the market this Thursday. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it needs updating. The owner lived there her whole life, and it's never been updated. And I think it's going to go on the market for $392, and it's on Lodi Avenue. And again, it needs to be updated. And then there's another one coming up in Colonial Heights. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool. And I'm not sure yet on that price. It's going to be probably in the high 4s. And it's been updated. And then there's another one in Lodi that's going to come on, I think, like the 15th of June. And it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And I'm not sure the price. I have the price in the office, but I don't know what it is yet right now.
Is it single story, that 3-bedroom in Lodi?
What's that?
It's a single story?
Yes, all of them are single stories.
And the one that's a 3-bedroom, where's that located?
On let me think, Michelle. I don't have an assistant, so you know.
Tag me or text me.
Okay, I will. Yeah, Alder Glen. It's on Alder Glen.
Okay. Awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Amazing team meeting. Yeah.
I do have a need, Michelle, if anybody's, I have a buyer who needs a house, and he doesn't want something that needs work, but he wants at least 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, somewhere in the 450 range. And we're making offers. We sold his property in Weston Ranch. It's not closed yet, but I need something right away. So if anybody has anything coming up in the 450 range, and yeah.
Perfect.
With 100 offers would be great.
Thank you. Yes. Anybody else?
I have the same thing. I have 2 buyer needs in the Tracy or Manteca area in the I'll say 440 because they don't want to go over 450. And also land in the Tracy area, anything that has, even if the property is not up to par, they just want like about an acre to build. They have an invention and they want to do some like HVAC kind of stuff on the property. So if you guys have anything, just any land that you have within like an acre or acre and a half, please let me know.
Perfect. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. It's Monday. Go have fun. Let's get more listings. All right, you guys. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
My pleasure, honey.